Been trying to get back into working out a little bit, but I ain't been to the gym. I just be like doing like push-ups and ab stuff at the house. So.
I've been same here. I've been doing cardio heavy, and then I just started get back into lifting. Like the past week and a half or so, hitting the weights. And yeah, I've been sore as hell. But now I understand why people like, yeah, fuck this,
bro.
Because it do hurt. Like starting out, it hurts.
It does. Once you get going, it's better. But yeah, that initial, because like my initial first week of trying to do it, I was doing the push-ups and stuff like that. Man, my body felt so stiff. Like, I don't know. I felt like stretching hurt. Like just trying to stretch. Like,
oh yeah. My arm was stuck like this, like at a bend for a good couple of days. My upper chest, my shoulders, everything was sore, bro. I was like, I'm in it now. Like I don't want to feel this, so just gotta keep going.
Yeah. No, I do. I did like I had a nice little run. It was before Nori was born though. I had a nice little run of like getting up in the morning, going to the gym, and like our gym opens up at like 5 a.m. and I'll go up there before work for about an hour, and I'll go up there and just get in good, like just calisthenics, just pull ups, dips, and all that stuff. Get on a treadmill for about 30 minutes or so. And I had a good run of that, and that felt so good. Like every morning doing that, like it's hard it's difficult getting up, but then once I get up and go and do it, and I come back, like my day is like that. I felt the best. Like throughout the day, I felt the best. Like I wasn't sleepy. You know, I had a lot of energy. I felt like I was in a better mood all the time. I was also drinking like tea like twice a day, a lot of water. I was also swimming.
Oh, you were swimming?
Mm-hmm. I did like 2 days a week. I would go up there. So instead of doing the calisthenics workout, I would just like swim for an hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was up there with the older folks, like the retired folks. Man, they be so cool. They just be up there just talking, having a good time. I'm like,
they sure do. They just be They be having the best time of their life.
Boy,
retirement be looking and sounding fun because the pep in their voice and all that.
See, some people be like, man, I don't know what I would do if I retired. I know what I'd be doing. I'd be doing stuff like that. Like I just living life. Like, you ain't gotta be nowhere necessarily. You know what I mean? Like if you got it, you ain't gotta be nowhere. Like just, I mean, it's not hard to find stuff. To me, it's not hard to find stuff to do.
Right. Yeah. It'd be like, it'd be just find stuff to do that you like. And then, I mean, if you're capable of finding a little active, something to do active, like for half an hour a day or so, then you'd be straight.
Mo's grandmother, she's 80. I don't want to get her age wrong. She's early 80s, like 80, 81, like just freshly. But she be traveling. Like I'm not talking about like she goes to like just the next state over. Like she go traveling across the world. She be going by herself sometimes. Like she went to Egypt and all that. Like she'll go out and volunteer. She goes on walks and like she does all that stuff. Like she's 80, but she looks and moves and acts like she's like in her 50s. Like for real. Like she's just so young acting. You know what I mean? Like in a good way.
No,
and like
I get you.
I'm like, bro, if I can be like that, if I can first of all, if I can make it to 80, and then second of all, if I can be like that at 80, that's a beautiful life to live.
Yeah.
That to have because she still has everything. Like she still has her memory is way better than mine. Like she was telling us this story about something that happened when she was in her 30s and she was in New York, and she was telling us about this lady that lost her driver's license, and she can still remember what she was wearing, what she looked like, what her name was. I'm like 50 years ago, and you still remember that, like the details of everything that happened that day. I'm like, bro, I can't tell you what happened last week.
So, exactly. I aspire to be like that. Hopefully.
Yeah, like that's beautiful because that's at the end of the day, that's what life is. Like you want to be able to have all of that, but not have to be tied down to like a schedule of like going to work every day. You know what I mean? It's like be in your best mind and physical shape that you can be in, and be able to do what you please, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. think we'll be able to have that
with technology. Yeah, I think so. But I think that it's kind of like a double-edged sword, I guess. I don't know if that's the right term to use, because like I think that because we have so much technology, I think that also is deteriorating our brains faster, i.e. like just being on like social media or just being in front of a computer screen. Like our lifestyles, like for example, I was reading this book called Ikigai, and it's like about the people in like Okinawa that they're known as like the island of the immortals, right? Because everybody there lives well past the average like world age. Like they'll live into their 90s to 100, right? And they have communities of people that are this age, but because their lifestyles are like the work they do is physical labor, but it's not stressful, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, and then they don't drive cars, like they ride bikes everywhere they go, and they're eating off of the land and a lot of fish, and you know what I'm saying? Like they socialize, like they do all the things that here in the States where it's like, yeah, we have a lot of technology, but our technology arguably makes us more secluded,
dependent as well.
yeah, dependent. Yes, you're right. Dependent, secluded. So like, and we're not designed to be like that. We're supposed to be social. We're supposed to be active. We're supposed to be able to live off the land. Technology is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but in moderation. And I think we have an excess in a lot of ways. Like the more money that you make, the more access you have to this excess of technology. And I think that would be my only reservation about how long we could actually live. You know what I mean?
What about quality of life when we get to that age? Because essentially the American dream, kind of what the older generation was able to live through, and kind of reap the rewards of their benefits, that's kind of dwindling within our generation, and just how the economy's going. So what if we get to retirement age and our 401ks, our retirements, our pensions or whatever, maybe they're not as grand as our parents or our grandparents was.
I don't think
we have to keep kind of grinding and working.
Well, so that's a good point, because my uncle, he was just talking about it. Like there's a guy at his job, and he's like in his like 70s or so. He's up there, and he's still working. And like I don't know if he could retire or he was still working. I forgot, but I think that's a trend. I think that we are going to be working a little bit longer now because of like just economy wise, like everything's going up. So like,
yeah.
And like you said, like I don't know what Social Security and pensions and all that stuff are going to look like by the time we're at that age. I mean,
right,
it may not even exist. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible. It's
possible. So it's we're in a weird spot, because it's like we're in a time period where we have the capability to make way more money than our parents could have ever made or dreamed of making at this age, because internet was not a thing. So they couldn't stream and make millions of dollars just by sitting here on a camera all day. You know what I mean? We have that capability, but it's not everybody's going to do it, and not everybody's going to be capable of doing it. So I think the possibilities are greater, but the reality is I think the majority of us are not going to ever see that American dream. So I think that's where we kind of have to figure out what that looks like for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of changed. So
yeah,
the ideal American dream that's been floating for the past decade or century.
Yeah, the white picket fence with wife and kids, the dog or cat, whatever your preference is. You can retire and you got your Yeah, no, yeah, the 401k and
money. Yeah, the money
yeah,
coming in every month and all that. So
yeah, it's like it's not it's not like that, and it's not
yeah,
going to be. It's not going to be like that. So
facts.
I
On the
think,
flip side, though, forget retirement age. How about the age of youth and blossoming? How was Nova's birthday, bro?
oh yeah, great,
Great.
a whole great weekend because we did like we took it to the movie theaters for the first time. We saw that new Lilo and Stitch,
Yeah,
which that was actually really good. Be
that's
honest with you, I never
okay.
really got into the cartoon,
Yeah,
but
I like the cartoon movie back when it came out. When we was young.
I never really watched it. I seen parts of it, but I got the gist of it. But I
Mhm.
watched the live action one. I was like, yeah, this is good.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got the popcorn, a bunch of crunch, all that. Try to
Yeah.
give her that experience.
She enjoyed it. She
Yeah.
loved it. How
Yeah.
did what was her reaction to the big screen, I guess?
She enjoyed it. It wasn't like a wow type thing because we do that. We
Yeah.
do that at the house, but our screen
That's
is
true.
not that big. But the gist, the idea is there. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So she's like, "Oh, we're at the
Yeah. This is
movies." Like she knows movies.
right. So it's
Yeah,
like this is just a
the
bigger
idea.
screen where
Mhm.
now we're sitting down rather than we're like laying on the couch or laying on the air mattress or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just a bigger screen. So
Hey,
yeah.
that's
So
that's a way to do it. That I mean, I'd rather have that than a toddler or that's fidgety, can't sit still, and
yeah.
so
Yeah, so she understands the concept. So,
yeah.
she enjoyed that, and we went to Build a Bear. So she got her, they get that for the however old you're turning, you get the age, but it's a certain bear that you can get, and you pay the amount. However old you are, you pay that amount, but then they sell you on all the accessories. So
So the bear was $4 though.
yeah, the bear itself was
Okay.
$4, but then all the accessories, we ended up spending like $50 once you put all the accessories on it. It's like
Yeah.
but she got a bear. She named it Stitch. Yeah, bought it.
That's actually makes sense.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
better way
actually,
to dish stuff.
yeah. So we did that. Went swimming. Then her birthday party was actually at kind of like Deanna Rose, where they you got like farm animals and stuff like that. And you
Okay.
can So
No,
we
I'm
did.
not familiar though.
Well, we went there. It's kind of like the zoo, but except it's like more like farm animals.
Got you.
Like
Okay.
farm animals, horses, birds, and stuff like that. Like not just farm animals, because they had like bobcats and buffaloes and stuff like that there too. And some
So
cage,
kind of
some
Midwesty animals.
yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it. Yep. And so we did that. We went fishing up there. The kid, you can fish, and so she enjoyed that. Like she wasn't scared of nothing. Like she was baiting the worm. We caught a fish. We did catch a fish.
Yeah.
It flipped off and it spiked her, but so she didn't like that too much. That kind of was off-putting, but she is all right afterwards. So
Okay.
we did that. It was a great weekend though. It was a great weekend.
That's what's up. I'm glad to hear it.
And then we played and then I think Sunday we played Animal Crossing on the Switch, which I didn't know you can play Animal Crossing 2 players on the same console. I just learned that.
What do you do? You just run around together? Oh, okay.
Run around. You can run around and build stuff together and everything like
Yeah.
that. Do stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we did that. I didn't even know you can do it. It was an accident. It was just it popped up on there. I was like, oh, okay, that's dope. Let's try it.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, y'all can bond playing video games now too.
Yeah. So
2-player game. Hey.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Again, happy birthday, Nova. Well, happy belated right now, but
Yeah. Thank you. So what's up? What'd you do this weekend?
Just went out to Vail. Went out to the mountains. It was this GoPro mountain games.
Yeah, okay.
So that was it. That was happening for a couple days, and just went out one of the days with Akil, and then met up with homie Malik. So basically, what it was like, I don't know, event. Imagine like a festival type event, but they had all these outdoor sporting or just outdoor events going on. So they had like the slack lines. They had this slackline event where they jump on the slack line and do tricks.
Yeah.
So it's called trick lining. That was pretty dope. I posted that on my story. Yeah, that was really dope. Like I've never seen that before. They had kayaking, like they had kayaking competitions, doing freestyle kayaking. They had climbers. They had different
Like
type of races.
mountain
Yeah,
climbers.
like rock climbers.
Oh,
Like
right.
they set up different bouldering obstacles, or they had the speed climbing event.
Okay.
Where they raced it against each other side by side on the wall.
I love that stuff, bro.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So it was all, bro. It had so much stuff, and then there was other people. Weather was beautiful. It was in Vail, Colorado, so that's real pretty in and of itself. Just being out there.
How far is that from you?
That was like 2 hours, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
2 hours, yeah, 2 hours. So no, not bad at all.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I did this weekend. And yeah,
You be having fun, bro.
Fine,
You be having
man.
fun. I'd be looking at your story. I'd be like, man,
Like what the heck you got going on?
no, I enjoy watching it. I live vicariously through you. I'm like, yep.
I'm glad you enjoy them.
When these kids is old enough to be able to go hang out and do their own thing, I'm gonna be me and Mo getting out and doing some stuff too.
I feel you.
Would you try that slackline thing? Would you try that?
Yeah, at a low risk. Like if it was
like padded underneath or something.
Padded underneath, a foot off the ground,
Mm.
stuff like that. So,
because that seems like you have to be super athletic for that.
Jared was doing it for a time, so I don't know about super athlete. I'm just
hey,
but no, you have to have balance. You have to hone in with your balance and center of gravity, all that, body weight. Yeah, so you have to understand the physics behind that shit.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, bro. It looks fun. If I could do it,
right. Hey, bro, they were doing it across this, like basically across the river. They were slacklining across the river, probably about 15 to 20 feet above the river. And I was like, I didn't see that personally. It was the day after. I was like, dang, we was kind of waiting for that. But
they be doing like the jumps and stuff, like, or they just
they weren't jumping. They were just walking.
I'm about to say, I was like, ain't no way. Because if you get up there and lose your balance, like,
fall into those rapids.
Yeah,
that's a wrap for sure.
Now I would do that speed climbing. I used to be pretty good at that stuff.
Same.
I started at the when I was used to go to the View all the time, and I just do like the little easy ones and stuff like that. And then I practice, and then I started doing it without the harness, because it's the View one is not that big. Even if you fell from the top, you're not gonna die. It'll hurt. It'll knock the wind out of you. But I mean, it would. Like if you fell on your back, like, ideally, if you fell on your back, it would just knock the wind out of you.
If you fall on your back from 4 feet, 3 feet, you knock the wind out of yourself.
Right. So that made me comfortable. And then I remember I did one on a cruise that was a lot higher up, and I mean that stuff be fun. I enjoy it. But
I've been to a couple climbing gyms here. I like climbing the walls, but it's kind of, they be high, bro. Like I get a little nervous. So I like doing the bouldering ones, the one where you don't have to wear the harness and they only go so high.
Yeah.
You jump down. That's what I find fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I need to find me a wall, man. That's a good workout.
It is. Definitely a good workout. Yeah. But we should probably hit the intro.
Yeah, for sure. What we back. That's all. Remix.
Right.
What we back for another week of the Rick and Jordy Podcast. I'm one half of your host, Jordy.
And I'm the other half of your host, Rick. Back for another one.
What's popping?
What up? I hit the mic, but yes, sir. Man. So yeah, bro. How you feeling though overall?
I'm feeling good. Man. I'm feeling real good, actually. Same. Hey, speaking of, when we was talking a lot about like physics and stuff like that, I have a quick little insert on that. I was gonna, I didn't send it to you, but there's this. Have you ever heard of this place called Gravity Hill?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let me pull this up real quick.
It sounds like a bounce, like one of those jumping gyms, bounce gyms.
Nope, it's something different. Hold on. Let me
that's what I was thinking of.
Nah, Gravity Hill. It's a place. And let's hear them out.
And urban legends. One of them is right off of Interstate 83 in the Lewisberry area. That's hands-on, so you can test it out yourself.
The slider up top.
Gravity Hill, but also investigate if there's a non-paranormal explanation to what happens.
You should turn it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Gravity Hill has attracted hundreds over the years, including YouTubers trying to test out the supposed natural phenomenon. The idea here is that you drive downhill on Pleasant View Road toward the intersection at Windermere Road, then stop and put on your four-ways. You put your car in neutral, and then you'll actually appear to roll backwards uphill. An urban legend says it's the ghosts of kids pushing you uphill, trying to spare you from their gruesome fate. They died when their school bus collided with a train at that intersection. So ghosts? Or is there something else going on here? Say something scientific.
It's an optical illusion.
Robert Fury, professor of integrated sciences at Harrisburg University, has taught lessons on this in the past.
What you're actually seeing is clues on the horizon that make you think that the angles are different from what they actually are.
The mind wants to think that the intersecting road is perpendicular, but in reality, it is not. They use water to show this is not the case, and that's where the illusion starts in our minds.
The angle of the road to the side and these visual clues and cues that you get from looking around you make it look like it's rolling backwards up the hill.
But in reality, there's a 3-foot dip right before the intersection that's making the vehicle roll.
When the cars roll, they look like they're rolling backwards up the hill, but in fact, they're rolling backwards down a slight hill.
So what about fingerprints? The legends claim if you throw flour on your car, you see the fingerprints of the kids. Well, Fury has a very scientific explanation for this one as well. He says it's just like taking actual fingerprints.
If you put oil that somebody's hand left there, acts like a fingerprint, and so you think you're seeing those handprints.
And it's also worth noting that there is no railroad nearby and never has been one. So as cool as it is to experience, it's not supernatural activity, and we can lay that one to rest.
Holy cow!
It worked.
Yeah, right. So I saw that last week or so or whatever it was. I thought that was pretty cool though. Gravity Hill, man. I want to try that out one day.
That is cool. That reminds me of those optical illusion houses where like they roll they set a tennis ball down and it looks like it's rolling up a hill or something like that.
Yeah.
Did
you go to the one that they had here? It was at was it Union Station?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, they had one. I think it was at Union Station. Yeah, it was at Union Station. They had one here. Mo and I went. I think it was before COVID. So 18 or 19.
Okay.
19. It had to been 19. Had been 19. Because we didn't start dating until 18. So had to been 19 or 20 actually.
Got you.
And we went. It was pretty cool because you go in them. It's kind of like how we did that. Shoot. Remember that like the train that we was on, and you like lean, and it feels like you lean.
Oh yeah.
Escape room or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So it has like stuff like that in there, and it's like a room where like you standing side by side, but it looks like one of y'all is bigger than the other. Just based.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be thrown off about that stuff because I still can't understand it.
Same. I haven't been to one for a long old time since I was young, but yeah, those are cool.
It just reminds you though that it just reminds you that your eyes are not always telling you the truth though.
Yeah, things can be very deceiving.
Yeah.
Foots, ghost stories. That type stuff.
For the longest, I was wanting a lot of that stuff to be true, like Bigfoot, leprechauns, all that stuff.
But then that means a lot of other stuff is true though, too.
Yeah.
Stuff that we don't need. So
vampires are true.
Well,
kinda.
They have an origin.
Yeah.
Bats, vampire bats.
It comes. You ever heard the story of Vlad Dracula?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it comes from.
Yep.
Well, yeah, essentially, because he did a lot of that stuff that, they thought he was immortal and everything. Like they had to like, I guess they had to cut his head off to make sure that he wasn't, because I guess like when he would go into war or like battles or something like that, like he was getting hit with arrows and stuff, and they would take him back to the tent and patch him up, and he'll come back out fighting. So they was like, hey, bro, he's really immortal. And so I guess they got into he got into a war or something like that, and they caught him, and they was like, hey, cut his head off and bring it to me. I want to see. But then they said they had I guess there was like stories that he was still haunting people after the fact too. So yeah,
he should cut his head off.
Yeah, so, for sure. But yeah, anyways, yeah. Time periods I also saw today too. I think I've seen this before, but time periods, this is super random. Apparently, Ronald Reagan, Harriet Tubman were alive at the same time. She died in 1913, and Ronald Reagan was born in 1911.
Oh,
all right, okay,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's a stretch, but not, because it lets you know like how close we are. Like time is, because if you think about Harriet Tubman, you think about slavery, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you think about Ronald Reagan, and you think he was the president, right?
Mhm.
But they were at one point in time in history, they were alive at
They
the
were
same
both
time.
alive.
Yeah, and then Harriet Tubman was alive, but now I can't remember who it was. Ronald Reagan, Thomas Jefferson. Was it Thomas Jefferson? Yeah. So Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Jefferson was like what, the freaking? He was the third president. Yeah.
So Thomas Jefferson and who?
So Thomas Jefferson. So Harriet Tubman was alive when Thomas Jefferson was alive. She when she was 4, that's when he died.
Okay.
He died when she was 4 years old. So she was born in like 1820 something, 1822. And he died at 1826. But then she died in 1913, and Ronald Reagan was born in 1911.
Mhm.
And so think about it. Ronald Reagan was alive when we were alive.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like think
So
just we're all connected.
So we're only really one removed from Harriet Tubman.
We are one generation away from Harriet Tubman.
Yeah. My pops, the same kind of like when Malcolm X was assassinated, my pops was 1. And I think when MLK was assassinated, my pops was 4 or 5, something like that. Learning about him, it seems like it was so far ago, but then my pops was alive when they were alive. So, you know, it's like it's not that far back then.
Time is so interesting in that way, because then I also saw too that apparently we are closer on the timeline. We are closer to Cleopatra when she was born, and when she was alive, than she would be to when the pyramids were built.
Oh wow.
You're right.
Yeah.
So like all of that just makes me think, like, put it all in perspective, because Cleopatra was a long time ago. So if we're closer to her time period than she is to when the pyramids were actually built, like that's all that stuff throws me off. You know what I mean? I try not to think about it, but it is interesting when I hear stuff like that, though.
Yeah, it is. I try not to think about
it. I try not, but then when I see it, because I like random facts like that. So when I see it, then I'm like, oh, let me dig into this a little bit. Now I want to know more. Like, what else is on the timeline? Where are we at?
Yeah.
So
okay.
Gang. I did have a couple of things last week.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna figure that we get to.
Yeah, the other one was Phantom Time Conspiracy Theory.
Phantom.
Yeah. So this is a theory that the early Middle Ages, so it says from 614 to 911, never occurred. Therefore, the time period we are in now is 1728 rather than 2025.
Why didn't 614 or whatever not occur?
Let's find out. Since we're talking about time.
What was it? 16, what? 14 to what?
614 to 911.
614.
The early Middle Ages. Yeah. All right. So it hypothesizes a conspiracy by the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II to fabricate the dating system retroactively in order to place them at the special year of AD 1000 and to rewrite history to legitimize Otto's claim to the Holy Roman Empire. Old boy believed that this was achieved through the alteration, misrepresentation, forgery of documentary and physical evidence. According to this scenario, the entire Caroline, that period, including the figure of Charlemagne, is a fabrication with a phantom time of 297 years added to the early Middle Ages. It says evidence contradicts the hypothesis, and it failed to gain support of historians and calendars in other European countries. Most of Asia and parts of the pre-Columbian America contradict this
hypothesis.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you want to know something though?
What?
I don't think it's that hard to do.
Hmm.
I really don't.
They just said they forged documents and
Yeah.
well, probably destroyed shit too.
So because they're saying like this time period right here never existed.
Right.
Scarcity of archaeological evidence that can be reliably dated to the period AD 614. These are the claims. So there's a scarcity of archaeological evidence for this time period. The dating methods used for such recent periods, radiometry, and I don't know what these words are inaccurate. That medieval historians relied too much on written sources. The presence of Romanesque architecture in the 10th century, Western Europe, suggests that the Roman era was not as long ago as conventionally thought, and that at the time, the introduction of the calendar in AD 1582, there should have been a discrepancy of 13 days between the Julian calendar and the real or tropical calendar when the astronomers just
I mean, it don't sound crazy. Some asshole wanted it to be year 1000, so
yeah,
did everything in their power to make it year 1000. Doesn't sound too far fetched from what's happening right now.
Right. Because I mean, okay, so here's the thing. Just like you said, in that time, how do we know that the time period we're in now is the time period? We can't know that for certain, right? We just go based on like the clues, okay, or the evidence that we have. Let's say the evidence that we have that we're in the time period that we're in. We only personally know the year that we were born, the year that we're told that we're born in. We were born in 1990, right? So if that's the year that we're born in, and then each year we have a birthday, we're just following the trends of how time works for us, right? All right. The next year is 91, 92, and so forth and so on. Okay. That's all that we can account for. So everything before that is history, and we're told that, right? Which is not difficult for a time period before where there's technology is not where it is, right?
And who even knows if they had like a true catalog or dating system, all that. Do you think other civilizations could well, obviously they did dispute it, but they'd be like, oh wait, no, we have stuff from that time period, and try to counter it that way.
I think they could, but I mean, like, I just think it would be difficult to do, because it's like, how can you be so sure that it's from a time period? Like, there's things that they're finding now in archaeology that they once thought it was from a certain time period, but it doesn't. As you discover, as you learn more, then you start understanding that, oh, okay, maybe I was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like, all right, if somebody found this like 1,000 years from now, right? They find this phone. Man, this phone must have been from the year 2500. And then you find another phone that was probably really from the 2500, and it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's way more further advanced. And you're like, well, maybe I'm wrong, because it's so far ago, you wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't be sure. You just going based on, whatever evidence you found in the research that you're doing. Right. And so I think that if you don't have anything to compare it to, how can you say?
Right.
So I think that would be important, to be able to have comparables too.
Yeah, something to compare it to, something with the date written on it. Just kidding.
But no, for real though, because they had stuff like that in their little diaries or something.
Yeah. But it says we're on the Gregorian calendar, and that wasn't created until 1582.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, whole bunch of stuff could have went down. I think, if they didn't have nothing to compare it to, if at that time, were they going off the Roman calendar for the most part?
Let me see.
Because if they were like the spearheads of the calendar game back then
yeah,
that's a whole nother spin on it.
Early Middle Ages. Let me see.
AD
Following the decline of the Western Roman Empire.
614.
Yeah, 614.
The Julian calendar.
Julian. Okay.
Yeah.
He was Roman, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I don't want to misspeak.
It's okay if we misspeak on here. We're responsible.
Right.
I think they were still, yeah. I mean, because now it's a little bit different because it's probably easier to do this than to fake a whole time period. But I mean, if they were able to fake like historical events, right? Like King Arthur, right? Now he wasn't in that time period that they're discussing because I tried to look him up just to see what time period he was. Looked like he might have been like, it says the 12th century. So was that the 1100s, something like that?
Yeah.
So he's in that time period, but there's still debate on if he actually ever existed. You know what I mean? But they have a whole backstory for him and everything, you know? And so if King Arthur, if he never existed, then what was that time period?
What the hell is Excalibur then?
Where's the stone at?
Right.
And what was his uncle named? Merlin,
yeah. Bro,
Dragon
does not exist.
Well, it's not. There's no evidence. There's no evidence proving his existence. It just says, all right. It says was a king, and then that's crazy because if you don't have evidence that he was a king of Britain, he is a folk hero and a central figure in the medieval literary tradition known as the Matter of Britain.
What's the Matter of Britain? It is a body of medieval literature and legendary material associated with Great Britain and Brittany, and the legendary kings and heroes associated with it, particularly King Arthur.
Yeah. But Charlemagne existed, and he's in there too.
So it sounds like it's a little bit of truth and a little bit of fallacy, a little like beefing up the story.
Yeah. So okay. So and that's what I'm saying. So how difficult is that then? It doesn't seem like it would be that. Not I ain't gonna say it wouldn't be that difficult, but it doesn't seem like it's impossible. Let's say that.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if you can fabricate a whole story of a king and say that he actually existed, but then there's no evidence to prove that he existed in the 1100s, when you have a king that's in this same, literature that actually existed, and you have evidence of. So what? Like I said, what's that time period? Like his, however long he lived, never existed then, or at least his timeline, whatever it is, didn't exist. I read a book. Was it 1987? Have you read it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had to.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever had to read it in school. I read it as an adult, but essentially that guy's whole job was to redact things out of history, to say that they never happened, right? So in an era where it's like the internet doesn't exist, which the internet could actually be used to do the same thing, because it's just as easy as for somebody to just go through and just clear everything out, and you would have to rely on somebody to actually save that information somewhere in a database. But somebody can go in there and clear all that stuff out and scrub the internet of any information regarding to whatever, like they can make it to where LeBron never existed. He's just some mythical being that was great at basketball supposedly, but we don't have any records of him. I think you could do something like that, but it would take time though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be in our lifetime because we saw him. So, but
just like any folklore or any word of mouth story get carried on, and if it's held as truth, then it's held as truth. Like no matter if once the people die out that lived it, then whatever happens to it.
That's how myths are born.
Yep.
Because somebody embellishes, like Michael Jordan. When they say Michael Jordan's the GOAT, they're gonna pull up old memes and see goat heads on them and stuff like that, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, this dude, he was a really good basketball player, and he was half man, half goat." No,
he was the first and the GOAT. He was the first GOAT basketball player. And then they started drafting more GOATs. Like Kobe came after him, and then LeBron.
He was considered a black mamba, so he had the head. Right. It was a strange time period. They had animals that played basketball.
Animals that reflect, that's how you know how good they were. What animal it was.
Yeah. Then he had this guy called the unicorn. It was Porzingis.
You know what that means.
These nicknames are going to be what stick. Joker, the Claw for Kawhi Leonard.
What's
Tarantula,
who's that?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, okay.
Jawick.
Jawick, yeah. The switchy killer crossover.
But it's those things, like I think like I said, when people start dying off and then there's just stories being told of this stuff, there's no eyewitness accounts. I think it's a lot easier to manipulate what time period that was or what that time period looked like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be missing 300 years, it's pretty wild. But
what year did they make the modifications to the calendar? I'm on the wiki. I can't find it.
The modification to like the Roman calendar?
Yeah, to say, in order to place them at the special year of AD 10,000 and rewrite history.
Oh, that would have okay. So it was a conspiracy that the Holy Roman Emperor Otto. So we probably need to find. This is who was one of the people that was a part of it. Supposedly the Roman Emperor Otto. Right. So he reigned from 996 to 1002. 6 years. That's it. What happened? Died. He was 21. Oh dang. How did he die? Hold on.
He suffered a sudden fever and died in Castillo Paterno.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. From a what?
Sudden fever.
A sudden fever? Dang. That's crazy. Okay. So then if this wasn't the real year, okay, so they try to get themselves to year 1000. Okay. So you got to go back 297 years. 297 years from the year 1000. That don't make sense though. So these years, they're saying Charlemagne was fabricated too. But I think there was evidence that he existed though, I think.
Emperor Charlemagne, yeah.
Yeah, it said there was evidence that he existed. So I mean, but I don't get the point though, because if he's adding 297 years to their current time to get them to the year 1000. And so, but this time doesn't, I guess I'm thrown off because now like I don't understand how this wouldn't exist.
If what wouldn't exist? Sorry, I'm not looking at the screen.
Okay, so if 614 to 911 didn't exist, am I reading that right? It says, according to the scenario, this period, including the figure Charlemagne, is a fabrication with a phantom time of 297 years added to the early Middle Ages.
Oh, so they're saying they fast forwarded.
Oh, okay.
7 years.
So he's saying that this is the time period that they really existed in. And that, yeah, okay. And so he was saying that it was the year 1000.
Yeah. But everything I look at, like Pope Sylvester,
yeah,
he was born in 1946 AD, died 1003. Otto says he was born 980 and died 1002.
Yeah.
So then they couldn't have been in 613 or 614.
Yeah. So, but then, okay. So I guess that's where the controversy is then, because his whole point is that those dates aren't real.
Those dates aren't real, and they made it so that they served during that time, right?
Right. So he's saying that he's trying to say that the documentation that they left behind is saying that it was this time period, but really this is the time period that they were existing in. They added this to this time period to get them to where they were. So basically what history ended up doing is, okay, if Pope Sylvester died in 1003, but they aged him at roughly 57 years old, then they're just going back 57 years and saying he was born in 946, right?
Okay.
Rather than saying if this was 300 years before, then he would have been born in 646,
right,
and died in 703. So that's his argument, is that that's really the time period that they were living in. Otto would have been born in, let's see,
What were you, 980? I think he was born.
Yeah, so really he was born in 680 and died in 702.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's what he's arguing. That's what he's arguing. That they added 300 years to their time period to get them to the year 1000.
So they could be big dogs.
Yeah.
They served during monumental times. They was
Okay.
it was basically like the year 2000 for them.
Yeah. You know, they say like
Y1K.
Y1K. Yes. There we go. That's some good marketing material too.
Right.
But I mean, who would argue that though? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say like I don't think it's impossible that they could have did something like that, because it's like, who's arguing that? And then it would make sense as to why we don't have flying cars right now, because we're still years behind the Jetsons.
Facts. We're screwed.
Yeah.
Well, we won't ever see them anyway. But it makes sense.
Yeah, we're way behind.
Still got 300 years ago, y'all.
Yeah. There's a you know that there's a what's the date? Did you ever see this? It's a date in the calendar. Like if you go onto your iPhone, that it skips. There's a year or something like that. Like if you go to a year far ago, there's like dates that are missing. But then there's also like these
October of 1582.
There we go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
10 days removed.
But they already talked about that in the wiki of the Gregorian calendar, and that 1582. There's a 10-day discrepancy.
What happened? Okay, what happened there?
There were two reasons to establish the Gregorian calendar. First, the Julian calendar was based on the estimate that the average solar year was exactly 365.25 days long, an overestimate of a little under 1 day per century, and thus has a leap year every 4 years without exception. The Gregorian reform shortened the average calendar year by 0.0075 days to stop the drift of the calendar with respect to the equinoxes. Second, in the years since the first council of Nicaea in AD 325, the excess leap days introduced by the Julian algorithm had caused the calendar to drift such that the March equinox was occurring well before its nominal 21 March 21st date. This date was important to the Christian churches because it's fundamental to the calculation of the date of Easter. To reinstate the association, the reform advanced the date by 10 days. Thursday, October 4th, 1582 was followed by Friday, October 15th, 1582 to advance the date by 10 days. In addition, the reform also altered the lunar cycle used by the church to calculate the date for Easter, because the astronomical new moons were occurring 4 days before the calculated dates. Whilst the reform introduced minor changes, the calendar continued to be fundamentally based on the same geocentric theory as its predecessor.
Man,
so they was tweaking it. That's why they were tweaking it that first year.
So we could just make up the whatever day it is then.
Pretty much. That's
man, all right. Hey, all right. Let's do this then. Every day. All right, tomorrow's Friday, bro. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's cut to the chase. Tomorrow's Friday, and then it's gonna be Saturday for the next 4 days, and then we'll have Sunday, and then Monday. We're gonna skip Monday and Tuesday. We're just gonna have a 5-day calendar with 2 spaced out days, and every day starts with Friday, with the next 3 or 4 being Saturday.
Pretty much.
We have 1 day work week. Like if that's what we doing, because we talked about daylight saving time, where people just making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't everybody participate in daylight saving time? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
come on, dog.
There's a lot of free will with this calendar shit I see.
What year are we in, bro? What year are we in? Because what's going on?
We don't even know.
The Chinese New Year is not even the same as our New Year.
Nope.
So the year they in is not even the same year that we're in then, huh?
Yep. So that's off. We already have 2 calendars going right there.
Side note, I heard, I don't know if this is true. Somebody can fact check me, and because I have no way of verifying this. But I was told that the reason why, like, I don't know if it's just like Chinese, but like the Chinese people look younger than their age because they have 2 birthdays. Because, like I said, this could very well be fabricated, and I don't know where I can't even tell you where I remember hearing this from. I was told that basically Chinese people, they have their birthday. So like if they're born March 2nd, right, that's their birthday. But then they count the Chinese New Year is a birthday. So like if you're 5 and your birthday comes up March 2nd, all right, now you're 6. But then when the Chinese New Year hits, you're 7, and then your birthday hits again. So like,
wow,
something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know where I heard that from, bro. It sounds fake. It's more than likely fake. But
probably.
I just remember hearing something like that. But I think they look young because of how they eat. They eat the
healthy.
Yeah, they have a good diet. But anyway, so this whole dates thing is all made up, bro.
Pretty much, that's the conclusion I came to.
Yeah. So then his theory is not off. It's not off. It may be exaggerated, but it's not off.
Mm-hmm.
Because who's to say that we really in 2025? Like that's a guesstimation at this point.
Yeah. What would that make it? 17 something?
1725.
1720.
Well, they said 297 years. So
1720.
I don't
28.
know. 28.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn. So, I mean, still everything has happened. It has happened, but what does it mean going forward?
I guess it wouldn't mean anything because whatever's already happened has already happened.
Exactly.
And whatever's going to come is going to come. So, I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it. The only thing it does is just, I think it'll mess people's heads for a little bit. Like, dang, we in the year 1700? Like dang, boy, we living in the past.
We can experience Y2K again. That'd be dope.
We won't.
We won't. Yeah, we won't.
Somebody else will. We won't. That's way far away.
That's down the line. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's trash that we never experienced Y2K.
Right.
What did we experience then? Because really, we ain't hit no milestones. Not in our lifetime. 30 years ago, the year 1700 maybe, but that ain't
nothing.
Yeah.
We just living in the middle of a century. That's all that is.
Yeah, that's pretty trash. We didn't get to experience no millennia or nothing like that.
Right.
That's trash. Phantom time conspiracy theory. Look into that. Y'all look into that and let us know what y'all find out. It was making my brain hurt. I ain't gonna lie. Just thinking about it and trying to figure out what was going on.
Had me scratching my head.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna write it off though, because like I said, since you looked that up and we thinking about it, it's like, well, what is time? Because then the Mayans had their calendar, and their calendar was supposed to be considered the most accurate one, and the end of the world is supposed to be 2002 or something like that, or whatever it was. But clearly, but so, okay, if their calendar was supposed to be the most, hear me out. If their calendar was supposed to be the most accurate one based on whatever, and the end of the world is supposed to be year 2002, we got 300 years missing. You follow me?
Yeah.
We ain't never made it there yet.
Right.
So they still got 300 more years before we could find out if they was right or not. Well, not 300 more years, but like two and some change.
Yep. You worried about it?
We ain't gonna be alive for it.
Yeah, not my problem. Y'all find out.
Yeah. Hey, come back and watch this in 200 years and let us know where y'all at, man. Hey, get that countdown going.
Let us know if they fabricated the calendar.
Yeah. Because if the Mayans was right, well, y'all in trouble. We long gone, baby. I'm sorry.
We all this technology to capture us figuring out.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. We cracked the code. We never experienced the end of the world yet. It's still to come.
Dun dun dun.
Y'all can go back and look at all the memes that we posted about the end of the world where they had the Jordan crying face on it.
Facts, yeah.
Enjoy your time because it's limited.
Hold up. All right. So what? 23, 22. That's 297 years from now. So
297 years from now.
Yeah, minus 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So 2299.
2299 will be the year that
destruction hits.
All right now.
Right here first, 2299.
We popping, baby. All y'all better watch this. Share it. Who collecting residuals from this show now, man? Like, yeah, that's what I want to know. Who bought?
You're welcome.
22. You said 22.99. Ah, yeah, okay. That even sounds like a cool year.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking.
22.99. Yeah, man.
Double.
That's the end of the world. Oh man. All right. Hey. Well, y'all let us know, man. For real. Let us know in the comments. We won't be able to read them, but
but you can say, "Oh, we saw it. We saw the prediction.
Yep.
We saw it live in action."
Yep. Rick did the math for y'all.
So now you know.
Now you know.
You got to worry about it. You got something to worry about.
You know how much time you got to get your stuff in order. So you better get it in order. Whatever year you watching this in, if it's 2298, you got a year.
Got a year.
365 days left. Or if you take my calendar, it's a lot less than that. You're missing 2 days per week. So
right. But all right, let's get into the wiki.
Get to the wiki.
All right. Calendar, I guess.
Yeah, let's do a calendar. We'll start a calendar and then go to. Let's pick a random animal.
Okay. Cuttlefish.
Bet. I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it before.
We talked about octopuses last week. It's like in the octopus family, I think.
Oh, okay. This right here. Yeah, for sure. This is what it looked like.
Okay.
Cuttlefish. Okay. All right. Well. All right. Calendar to cuttlefish. In
2 C's.
3, 2, 1. Wiki. All right. I actually don't know where to go for this one.
Same.
But.
Oh, maybe I do.
Yeah, maybe I do too.
Okay. Found it.
Well, maybe I don't. What is this? I don't think I chose.
Oh my goodness.
Did you mess up?
Yeah, I thought. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Wait, why am I here?
I don't know, but I think I'm gonna find it though.
I don't, because it screwed me. I hit one thing and it took me to a page of something else.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
Oh, okay.
Can't go back.
I found it. Don't worry. We here.
You found cuttlefish?
Almost.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I saw something.
Here we are.
They're not dead.
Okay.
No.
All right, fuck. Forget that. I'm
in the wrong. I'm in the right area, but the wrong area at the same time. Let's see. Good grief.
Here we are.
Ooh, I shouldn't have did that. What is this? That's not what I'm looking for.
What about this? Okay.
Dang it. I was getting there too.
I know. It was only a matter of time.
I was getting there. I was on cephalopod.
Yeah. See. Yep. That's where I was like, because that's where I was at, and I was like, let me shut up.
Yeah.
All right. Cuttlefish.
Oh, it was right there. I missed it.
Cephalopod at top, huh? It was
Yeah.
at top. Yeah.
I scrolled right past it.
Cephalopod, ocean, body of water, sea level, tide. Where is that? Moon, lunar calendar.
Shoot. I made it to cephalopod. I only remember cephalopod because of SpongeBob, actually.
Really?
I know Squidward. I remember him saying something like that. Marine invertebrates, invertebrate, aquatic animal, marine mammal. I know it wasn't a mammal, but I needed to get marine though. Manatee, mermaid, siren, Odyssey, Homer, chronometry, and calendar. Yeah, I had a long route. I messed up real early.
Yeah. I figured I just thought of the moon and then the tide. So I figured if I could get to moon from calendar, I could get to ocean.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's real smart. I didn't even think about that.
So that was my thought process on it.
I didn't even think about that. That was my struggle. I didn't even know where to start. I was like, I don't know what to do. That's smart though. I didn't even think about that. Good game.
Thanks.
Good game.
Appreciate
all right,
man. Too much now.
The flex.
I know.
All right, man. Y'all go and do that too. Calendar to not cephalopod. Calendar to cuttlefish. Yeah, y'all go figure that out. Figure out your pathway and pause it while y'all doing it and see how long it.
Yeah.
And see how long it takes. And then also too, y'all go do some research on this Phantom Time conspiracy theory. And let us know what y'all think. What year we in, man?
Yeah. What year are we in? Y'all tell us.
Yeah.
Is it 17? We in 1728 or 2025?
Yeah, because at this point, all this seemed made up.
Yeah. It does.
But yeah. So y'all let us know in the comments below. Drop your theories. And then also too, if y'all got topics for us that y'all want us to cover, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit us in the DMs, drop a comment, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, we'll go down the rabbit hole.
Yes, we will. And as always, like, share, subscribe. Hit that
ding
somewhere. Yeah. Hit that bell. And then that's been another week of the Rick Jordy Podcast. I'm one half of your host, Jordy.
And I'm the half your host, Rick.
We're gonna catch y'all next week.
Yep.
Peace.